Fuck you motherfuckers for hating on Obama like that. You soft-ass, punk-ass motherfuckers. He ain't got nothing to do with abortion. He said that he doesn't care. It's up to you. It's up to you if you're with abortion or not. That's what he's saying. That he's not forcing this decision on you. You get to pick yourself, which is what America's about, you stupid fucking pricks. Go to fucking dick.
You are a butthead.
I seen a truck with the abortion. Although it was disturbing, I think it's a great idea to put that out there in the public. The only reason I called is because I would like to know why was Obama's face on the pictures or on the truck.
I agree that it's okay for you to show your pictures. I disagree that you should connect our president with those pictures. You sound like a Republican right-wing organization, which would get absolutely no support from the majority of the population. And if you really care about children and unborn children, I suggest highly that you do more to work on poverty issues and you take care of single women and support them, and then maybe they wouldn't have abortions. You only look at one side of the issue. That is your problem.
I just called to tighten your phone a little bit and tell you to shove your trucks up your fucking Christian asses.
Hi, I just called to say I think you're doing a marvelous job. People today want to live in denial of everything that's evil, and abortion is one of the greatest evils. It's just intrinsic evil. So I called to encourage you to continue, and you're in my prayers.
As a Notre Dame parent whose child has worked very hard in order to graduate on time in 4 years with a very nice grade point, I plead with you to let graduation be the current Notre Dame student's day, and that is it.
I just have a concern. I don't have a concern that you're driving the trucks around. I live in South Bend, Indiana, by Notre Dame, and I don't have a problem with you showing the pictures. I guess my concern is all this money and effort is being put into this, which is great, but how about putting some money and effort into the children that we have in this country, in this world, that are being sexually abused, that are being physically abused, that are being used as slaves, sexual predators? Why isn't something being done about all the problems we have in this world? And abortion is one of them, and I agree with that. But it seems really silly to me to be spending all that money. I just saw 5 or 6 different trucks in the same vicinity. I'm thinking, okay, we got the picture, we can see it. You don't need that money. Why don't you use some of that money for the children on this earth right now, and for their not having to suffer also?
Hello, I am calling as a disrespected parent whose 4-year-old and 6-year-old sons, unfortunately, today had to see photos and images in my community, in my city where I live and drive up and down these streets. That is a conversation and discussion that I should have been able to have on my timeline and my husband's timeline with our children, not having it forced upon us in our car when I am completely caught off guard and unprepared. You have disrespected my family. I am angry. Many of my friends today are angry. You have caused a lot of hurt and anger in our community. What you are doing goes against what you are actually trying to do, and I don't think you understand that. What you have done today has made me so angry and feel so disrespected that it has prompted me to donate to Planned Parenthood as well as Emily's List. I am sure they will use my funds in an appropriate way. I am so angry right now that you have invaded my community with this. It is inappropriate. And you can certainly fight abortion and do what you need to do without exposing my young, innocent children to this.
As a pro-life person who uses my intellectual standpoint to advocate for unborn children, I find it completely unnecessary to use graphic photos, and nothing in the message that I just listened to gave any sort of intellectual reason as to why abortion is wrong. There are plenty of intellectual reasons, and none of them were communicated through your message. These photos are why so many people think pro-life people are irrational and crazy and dramatic and not thinking things through. And your message further showed that. That there was no intellectual substance to what you communicated, which I'm able to do and to do well without any sort of graphic photos. So there. I don't know. Thanks for making the intelligent pro-lifers look very poor.
Hello. I've seen your trucks on the road around Notre Dame. I'm a delivery man there, and I appreciate what you're doing. I believe it will open the eyes of some people blinded by the terrible fact of abortion.
I'm a student at the University of Notre Dame. I was calling us hoping to speak with someone rather than leave a message, which will do nothing. I wanted to voice my displeasure at the plane that is constantly flying around Notre Dame. I appreciate what you're trying to do. I agree that abortion needs to be addressed and ceased. It is horrible, and believe me, I am pro-life. However, I am also a student, and I'm trying to sleep, study, and take tests during my finals week. And what you're doing is wrong. You are distracting students from all three of those things, and it's a shame. I mean, go ahead and protest, and it was fine when it was during the last couple weeks of class. However, during finals week, we should be able to be students.
First of all, I want to state that I am pro-life. I just have a very different view of what the best way is to go about changing what's happening in the world. I want to respond specifically to the flying of the banner around Notre Dame. The reason I see this as being a big problem is because Notre Dame is a pro-life institution. Again, Notre Dame just has a vision of reaching out to those who disagree and beginning some sort of dialogue to win them over. And while I understand that's not your methodology, we're ultimately on the same team. We're both pro-life, wanting to change the world. And I think by flying this banner around Notre Dame, you're making it appear as though Notre Dame somehow condones, pro-choice policies or condones Obama's practices, which really isn't the case, which Notre Dame's administration has specifically stated. So, but I guess the gist of it is that by, pitting us against each other, first of all, you're moving the pro-life position farther out into the extreme, because now you appear like you're against not only the pro-choice people, but moderate pro-life people. And so it's a position that I think it's hard to win over the majority of the public. And the reason that's important is because our society rules by consensus. And ultimately, you can't stop abortion unless you get the majority of people to agree with you. I think that's only going to happen if you reach out to them completely. I know you have programs that reach out to them, but more opening a dialogue rather than throwing things in their face. And I understand how you think that has value, and I think to some people that's probably true. But honestly, I think the people who are affected by that the most are the people who already agree with you. I think the people who disagree about the notion of abortion just think it's extremist and offensive, and it turns them completely off. So I think the argument needs to be, how do you win the people who disagree? At the end of the day, this isn't about who's right and who's wrong. It's about how do you stop abortions from happening. And again, as a Notre Dame student and being here, you're kind of preaching to the choir. We're pro-life people, and maybe you disagree with how we pursue that. But I would appreciate, especially it's my graduation coming up. We're trying to celebrate our achievements. This is something we've worked very hard for. And I understand it's not as important as human life, but if we're not attacking human life here, we're going to go out in the world and try and make a difference just like you are. I just ask that you respect the way we go about it, and, we'll certainly respect the way you go about it, in most cases.